Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video we're going to take a look at the best buffed Pokemon for the Open Ultra League. We're going to take a look here at the Pokemon that got the biggest buff for the upcoming season. Later on we're going to have the top teams here as well on the channel, so definitely stay tuned for that. But let's move on to the video. As you're going to see here as well, if you haven't subscribed yet, feel free to subscribe. And we're going to start in with the first Pokemon now. There's going to be Electivire. Electivire is going to be one of those Pokemon that you really want to build for the upcoming season. This Pokemon is going to be very strong, getting a ginormous buff from 335 to 79 for the upcoming meta. And we're going to see as well, thanks to the Thundershock buff plus the Ace Punch buff. This was basically what it was before. It's actually very solid. Has still some very interesting matchups here, winning against Feraligatr quite easily. Especially as a lead, I could see this Pokemon performing quite well in the new season as well. But now we're going to have a crazy decent increase here as well with the average wins by +6 wins, which is really good as well here. And as you can see, quite a lot of matchups that you're going to be able to win. And again, I feel like it's going to be a great lead to use, as you can basically use the Wild Charge and Dip strategy while having great coverage against ground type Pokemon as well. Like for example, also something like a Gliscor, which is going to be something on the list here today as well. But first we're going to have the Alone Sandslash. This Pokemon also received a major buff with the buff of Ice Punch. But to be fair, it is not really showing that much in the stats, which you're going to see here today as well. We're going to have the Sandslash here, we have the Sandslash there, and we actually see that they have an increase of wins but decrease of average rating between those two. And that is kind of interesting as well. It is just something that happens because the meta shifted itself, making some certain Pokemon better that may be good against the Alone Sandslash itself there as well. But the average rating, as you can see here as well, goes from 52 to 35 as a rank for PvPoke. And so, yeah, Ice Punch got buffed. Get a little bit of more damage into it with it, and I guess it's going to be kind of okay for like those certain matchups where you're going to have, like, for example, Zygarde or whatever against you. Maybe you're going to be able to get the KO a little bit quicker, but the normal Sandslash is also better than the Shadow Sandslash currently, so that's also something for you to note if you want to build one for yourself. Gliscor, as said before, is going to be on the list and it's going to be the next one. Fury Cutter was the thing that you wanted to use last season. This season is going to be Sand Attack. The biggest buff, to be fair, in terms of usability, from 145 to 27, being basically top meta with 27, like this is literally the top meta, it's going to be quite crazy. And also here again, the normal variant is better than the shadow variant. If there's a shadow variant available for those Pokemon, and you don't see it on the screen right now, then it means that the normal variant is better, and of course vice versa. If you see the shadow variant is better than the normal variant, so I always have like the preferred variant here for the current meta. As you'll see here before, an average rating of 447 with 10 wins and 21 losses, changing to 18 wins and 17 losses for the new meta. Of course, there are a few more Pokemon in the meta now, so the meta is a bit bigger. So they have 35 Pokemon in the meta that we currently have, and here it's 31 in the one beforehand. But as you can see, this is definitely going to be one of the Pokemon that we have to prepare for. This Pokemon is going to be insanely strong, having great pacing, having great coverage, and going to especially benefit from the typing itself, which is going to allow you to resist quite a lot of moves currently. But of course, also having the double weakness to ice types is going to be a bit tricky sometimes. You know, Stunfisk is going to be also one of those that benefited quite a bit, from 89 before to 37 now, going to give it a big buff of also 5, nearly like stat points here on the right side, which is going to be kind of interesting. Like, this is going to be definitely also top tier meta now as well for the next season. As you can see here, this is what we had before, and this is what we have this season. We're going to have a good average increase, and as you can see as well, quite a lot of interesting matchups that you're going to be able to win now, which you didn't win before. For example, the matchup against the Primeape. And so this Pokemon for sure is worth building. There are a lot of very solid matchups for this Pokemon here, and it's going to be a very good core breaker, which it also currently is in the Open Great League. So if you haven't given this Pokemon a try yet, it is definitely worth it to check out. A Pokemon that you might not expect on this list is going to be Bellibolt. This thing is going to be also having access to a move that's got buffed with Thundershock, going from 116 to actually rank 58 here for the new season, while being a mono electric type attacker, which is quite weird, I feel like. I wish that this Pokemon would have a bit more coverage, but look at the average rating from 483 all the way up to 508 for this Pokemon, which is quite mad, I have to say. And so, yeah, Bellibolt definitely a Pokemon that you want to have for the upcoming season, but I might actually just take a look at this one on this channel before you build it, because I feel like it is something that's definitely going to be, yeah, something that you need to test out first. I actually have one build with a really good stats here, but also Parabolic Charge. If you've seen the video on my girlfriend's channel, link is always in the description as well. We do like videos together, their live commentary, which is a bit different to what you see, of course, on my channel. Definitely check them out as well. You saw already Parabolic Charge on Dedenne, and the move was actually insanely good. So I'm curious on how good Bellibolt gonna be, because I have this Pokemon build, and I definitely kind of want to try this one out for the upcoming season. Again, you're gonna see mainly electric type Pokemon. It's the season of electric type boys, and as you're gonna see here, Zapdos is going to be one of those that got a huge buff, going from 138 to 68 in total, one short of 69. But it is okay, Zapdos. We're still gonna play you more slightly this season, because as you're gonna see, the average rating increase is ridiculous. Already at 475 before, going all the way up to 527. That is insanely strong. It's 21 wins, 14 losses, and if you take a look at the meta here, like most of the matchups that you lose are very, very close as well. They're like nothing that really completely destroys you, meaning this Pokemon might be even good as a Say-Sop, and I feel like Zapdos is going to be one of the coolest Pokemon to run for the upcoming season. Moving on to a bit of a surprising one is Typhlosion. Why is it surprising? Because apparently the normal variant is better than the Shadow variant. This is based on PvPoke. I highly disagree with this one. I don't think that the normal variant is better. And even the stats are very weird. As you're gonna see here on the left side, you have a good average rating of 485, but now in the new meta, you actually have a decrease in average rating and 4 more losses, even though you got buffed, which I feel weird. Of course, this list is based on who is gonna get buffed in terms of like the ranking on PvPoke currently. So, very weird to see a Pokemon getting an increase of 35 ranks, but actually performing worse than before. I don't know what's going on with Typhlosion here, but yeah, this boy is a bit special here today. But yeah, again, we can now move on to the next one, which is going to be a Raikou. Raikou is going to be the next one on the list, having a Volt Switch currently before basically, but now changing its moveset to Thundershock, gaining up nearly 130 ranks here for the upcoming season. Definitely a huge increase, and also the moveset is just great. Like Wild Charge, getting fast to it, you only need 5 fast moves to get to a Wild Charge, which is ridiculous for this Pokemon. And then Shadow Ball is great coverage. We see already average rating of 380 before, with 8 wins and 23 losses, to 15 wins, 20 losses. Of course, still quite a lot of losses there as well, but still going to have a lot of play here, especially thanks to the coverage, allowing you to hit Pokemon like Giratina for super effective damage, which you usually only hit for resisted damage. Of course, your main bread and butter are going to be Thundershock, Wild Charge, but still this Pokemon definitely has some play now for the next season, so maybe it's something I want to take a look at as well. The Avalugg is going to be the next one on the list. I think it should be the second to last one here for now. We're going to have the Ice Fang, Avalanche, and Crunch. And as you will see as well, this Pokemon gets buffed to... Oh no, actually, there's one more definitely still coming up. We're going to see here the Avalugg getting up to 150 ratings basically increase, which is going to be kind of nice. As you'll see as well, the average rating increase is also very, very solid. From 422 all the way up to 477, while winning 4 more matchups, keeping the same amount of losses, but having very solid matchups against the current meta, and being one of the best breakers for Gliscor is going to be very interesting. I feel like Avalugg is going to have a lot more play than the rank is kind of suggesting here. And I don't know if the moveset is the correct one though. It has also access to Body Slam, which gives you a little bit of faster coverage. I'm not too sure for which Pokemon you really need Crunch, other than maybe Cresselia. That's basically the only Pokemon I can think of. For the rest, I would actually assume that Body Slam might be better. So, not too sure about the moveset itself here. I would assume that maybe something different could be a bit better for this Pokemon over Crunch. Again, Avalanche is a very, very strong move. Like, the difference even for Cresselia is not that big. But yeah, as you can see here, very, very solid Pokemon. We can move on to the next one. And that's going to be the last one, and I have to say, I cheated here. This Pokemon is not really supposed to be on the list, because there's actually a Pokemon that also is a bit higher on the current PvPoke ranking, which is not as interesting, which is Suicune, which I'll already take a look at in the Open Great League if you haven't seen this one, with Ice Fang. But Starmie is actually a bit lower ranked, only a few ranks, but I kind of wanted to actually take a look at this Pokemon, of course, because it has the biggest upgrade. We see nearly a 500 plus increase of the rank from this Pokemon, which is quite ridiculous, and also Quick Attack wasn't even like available beforehand because it was like a dead legacy move basically. We were not able to get it through an Elite Dam. And as you can see here, this Pokemon was horrible before. Winning against Primeape though, somehow, I don't know how, but I can guess. Maybe through quick attack damage, I have no idea to be fair. But yeah, 3 wins, 28 losses, all the way up to 16 wins and 19 losses. Yes, this Pokemon is not going to be top tier meta, but interestingly enough, Ice Beam is the recommended move on this one, not the Rock type move, which does make sense if you take a look at the meta here with Pokemon like the Zygarde, but of course gives you a little bit of a weakness against Pokemon like the Feraligatr, which you're not going to be able to hit with your charge moves now. So I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure what I have to think about this Pokemon, but again, this Pokemon is going to be interesting for the next season. We're maybe going to take a look at this channel here as well, but it's going to be the first video. I hope you enjoyed this one, a little bit of an extra video today, and I will see you then. Bye bye.